What if everything you ever needed for peace and happiness was already within you? What if the key to transforming your life and stepping into your true potential lay in simply understanding and cultivating the power of your mind? Buddhism, with its profound teachings on mindfulness, impermanence, and self-compassion, provides a transformative guide to break free from the habits and mental patterns that often hold us back. It invites us to understand the nature of the mind and learn how to work with it rather than be ruled by it. In a world full of distractions, anxiety, and pressure, can we truly find peace? The answer, according to Buddhism, is yes. By focusing on the present moment, letting go of unhealthy attachments, and embracing self-compassion. In this video, we will explore how Buddhist principles can guide us in letting go of habits that limit our potential, offering tools to transform our minds and lives. By cultivating mindfulness and learning how to manage our thoughts, we can find balance and clarity, reducing stress and moving toward a life of true peace and happiness. 1. The power of the mind. Transforming your reality. Buddhism teaches that the mind is everything. It shapes who we are, how we perceive the world, and how we respond to the challenges we face. The power of the mind lies in its ability to create our experiences. Every thought, feeling, and action originates from the mind, and through mindfulness, we can learn to shape our reality intentionally. By observing our habitual thoughts, we can begin to recognize patterns that may be limiting our growth or happiness. The Buddha's teachings emphasize that all suffering arises from the mind's attachments and aversions. By recognizing these patterns and letting go of unhealthy attachments, we can transform our lives. The mind, when untamed, can become a source of anxiety, stress, and confusion. However, through mindful awareness, we can retrain our minds to focus on what truly matters, freeing ourselves from the cycles of worry and doubt. Have you ever felt like your thoughts were controlling you, rather than you controlling them? How much of your experience is shaped by the way you think about it? Buddhism offers a path to transformation by teaching us to recognize our thoughts, let go of those that hinder our well-being, and cultivate a mind that supports peace and happiness. 2. People-pleasing. Embracing authenticity. One of the greatest sources of stress and emotional fatigue in today's world is the constant pressure to please others. Whether it's in our personal relationships, at work, or in our social circles, trying to meet everyone's expectations can leave us feeling disconnected from our true selves. Buddhism teaches that living authentically is key to inner peace. Rather than seeking external validation, we should focus on aligning our actions with our core values and beliefs. People-pleasing can be a form of attachment, as it stems from a fear of rejection or criticism. The Buddha's teachings on non-attachment encourage us to let go of the need for approval from others and instead cultivate self-acceptance. By being honest with ourselves and making choices that reflect our true nature, we can build stronger, more genuine relationships. Buddhism reminds us that we cannot control how others perceive us, but we can control how we choose to show up in the world. Do you find yourself constantly seeking approval from others? What would it feel like to live a life that is true to your values, regardless of external opinions? Buddhism offers wisdom on how to release the need to please others, allowing you to cultivate deeper, more authentic connections. 3. Overthinking. Breaking free from the cycle of worry. Overthinking is one of the most common mental traps that lead to stress and anxiety. It keeps us stuck in cycles of worry, constantly replaying scenarios in our heads, often without resolution. Buddhism offers a solution. Mindfulness practice encourages us to stay present in the moment, rather than getting lost in the what-ifs of the future or the regrets of the past. By practicing mindfulness, we can create space between our thoughts and our reactions, allowing us to observe our thinking without judgment. This awareness helps us break free from overthinking, letting go of unnecessary worry and anxiety. Buddhism teaches that much of our suffering is self-created, arising from our tendency to overanalyze and attach meaning to everything is within our control. We can embrace the present moment with a sense of peace. How often do you catch yourself overthinking or worrying about something that hasn't even happened? What if you could break free from the constant cycle of overthinking? Through mindfulness, we can learn to focus on the here and now, releasing unnecessary mental clutter and cultivating a more peaceful mind. 4. Constant worry. Finding freedom from anxiety, worrying about the future, or dwelling on what could go wrong can drain your energy and rob you of peace. Buddhism teaches that worry arises from a fear of the unknown and an attachment to outcomes. The more we cling to our expectations of how things should be, the more we suffer when reality doesn't align with those expectations. Through mindfulness, we can shift our focus from worry to acceptance and awareness. Buddhism encourages us to focus on what is within our control and let go of the rest. Rather than worrying about the future, we can cultivate a sense of trust in the process of life, knowing that things will unfold as they are meant to. By practicing mindfulness, we learn to respond to life's challenges with calmness and clarity, rather than being overwhelmed by fear or anxiety. Do you often find yourself worrying about the future, unable to focus on the present? How much of your worry is based on things beyond your control? Buddhism teaches us to release our attachment to outcomes and embrace the flow of life with a calm, open mind. 5. Self-doubt. Building confidence from within self-doubt is one of the biggest obstacles to personal growth and success. It keeps us from pursuing our goals, making decisions, and fully embracing our potential. Buddhism teaches that self-doubt arises from a lack of trust in our own wisdom and abilities. To overcome self-doubt, we must cultivate self-confidence and trust in our inner wisdom. The Buddha's teachings emphasize the importance of self-awareness and self-compassion. By practicing mindfulness and reflecting on our strengths and achievements, we can begin to shift the narrative of self-doubt to one of self-belief. Buddhism encourages us to believe in our own potential and to take action, knowing that every step forward is an opportunity for growth. How often do you doubt your abilities or second-guess yourself? What if you could build confidence from within by trusting in your own wisdom? Buddhism offers tools for overcoming self-doubt, allowing you to move forward with clarity and purpose. 6. Negative self-talk. Cultivating compassionate thoughts. Negative self-talk is another powerful force that keeps us stuck in cycles of self-criticism and insecurity. When we constantly berate ourselves or focus on our perceived flaws, we reinforce feelings of unworthiness. Buddhism teaches that right speech involves being kind and compassionate, not only toward others, but also toward ourselves. By practicing right speech, we can transform negative thoughts into positive affirmations. The Buddha's teachings on compassion encourage us to treat ourselves with the same kindness that we would offer to a loved one. By replacing self-criticism with self-compassion, we can heal old wounds and cultivate a positive self-image. Buddhism reminds us that we are all imperfect beings, but that imperfection is part of the human experience. Through mindfulness, we can begin to see ourselves with loving kindness rather than judgment. What kind of language do you use when you speak to yourself? How often do you engage in negative self-talk? Buddhism teaches us to speak kindly to ourselves, embracing self-compassion and replacing negativity with affirmations of love and worth. 7. Procrastination. Taking right action. Procrastination is a common habit that holds us back from achieving our goals. Whether it's due to fear of failure, lack of motivation, or simply feeling overwhelmed, Procrastination can create stress and frustration. Buddhism offers guidance on overcoming procrastination through the practice of right effort. Right effort involves taking purposeful action, one step at a time, toward our goals. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment or trying to tackle everything at once, Buddhism teaches us to break tasks into smaller, manageable steps. This approach reduces the pressure and makes the process of completing tasks feel less overwhelming. By practicing mindfulness and right effort, we can overcome procrastination and move forward with clarity and focus. How often do you put off tasks or delay action? What if you could take one small step toward your goal today without overthinking or delaying? Buddhism provides a framework for taking consistent, purposeful action, helping you overcome procrastination and build momentum. 8. Comparison to others. Celebrating your own journey. Comparison to others is a trap that leads to feelings of inadequacy and jealousy. Whether it's comparing your career to someone else's success or your personal life to the highlight reels of social media, comparing yourself to others only fosters negative emotions. Buddhism teaches the value of mudita, sympathetic joy, liberating others' successes without feeling inferior. Each person's journey is unique, and it is essential to focus on your own growth rather than measuring yourself against others. Buddhism encourages us to embrace our own path, recognizing that our worth is not defined by external accomplishments or comparisons. By practicing mudita, we can cultivate joy in the success of others without diminishing our own. How often do you compare your achievements to others? What would it feel like to celebrate your own successes without feeling inadequate? Buddhism teaches us to focus on our own growth and practice joy in the success of others. 9. Fear of failure. Viewing failure as a teacher. Fear of failure is a powerful force that prevents us from taking risks and moving forward. It can paralyze us with self-doubt and fear of making mistakes. Buddhism teaches that failure is not something to fear, but rather something to embrace as a valuable teacher. Failure, like success, is impermanent. It is not the end, but a stepping stone on the path to growth. By reframing failure as a lesson, we can shift our perspective and reduce the fear associated with it. Buddhism encourages us to approach life with an open mind, viewing each experience as an opportunity for learning and growth. By releasing the fear of failure, we free ourselves to take action, knowing that every step, whether it leads to success or failure, contributes to our journey of personal development. How often do you avoid taking risks because of a fear of failure? What if you viewed failure as a necessary part of the learning process? Buddhism encourages us to let go of the fear of failure and see it as an essential part of our growth. 10. Dwelling on the past. Living in the present moment. One of the greatest obstacles to happiness is dwelling on the past. Whether it's regret over past mistakes, lost opportunities, or painful experiences, Buddhism teaches that the past is gone, and holding on to it only prevents us from fully experiencing the present moment. Through mindfulness, we can let go of attachments to the past and embrace the present with open arms. The practice of mindfulness helps us become aware of when we are dwelling on the past and gently guide our focus back to the present. By accepting that the past is no longer within our control, we free ourselves from the burden of regret and guilt, allowing us to live with greater freedom and peace. Do you often find yourself trapped in thoughts of the past? What would it feel like to release those attachments and embrace the present moment with mindfulness? Buddhism teaches us to live fully in the now, letting go of the past to create space for peace. 11. Neglecting body and mind. The importance of balance. The mind and body are deeply interconnected, and neglecting either can lead to imbalance and suffering. Buddhism emphasizes the importance of maintaining both physical and mental well-being. The practice of mindfulness extends to caring for our bodies as well as our minds, recognizing that both are essential to our overall health and happiness. By incorporating practices like meditation, mindful eating, and physical exercise, we can cultivate balance in our lives. Buddhism encourages us to practice self-compassion, which includes taking care of both our mental and physical health to support our spiritual growth. How often do you neglect your body or mind in the pursuit of external goals? What if you made self-care a priority, nurturing both your physical and mental well-being? Buddhism teaches that true balance comes from caring for both aspects of ourselves. 12. Self-improvement as a process. Embracing progress, not perfection. Self-improvement is a lifelong journey, not a destination. Buddhism teaches that the path to becoming your best self is not about perfection, but about progress. Through mindfulness, compassion, and right effort, we can transform our habits and thoughts, cultivating inner peace and wisdom. Each step, no matter how small, is part of the journey toward becoming a more authentic, peaceful, and compassionate version of ourselves. Perfection is an illusion, and striving for it only leads to frustration and disappointment. Buddhism encourages us to embrace the process of self-improvement with patience and self-compassion. By letting go of the need for perfection, we can focus on the progress we've made and continue to grow with grace. How often do you hold yourself to impossible standards? What would it feel like to embrace the process of self-improvement, knowing that progress is more important than perfection? Buddhism teaches us that the journey itself is the goal. Conclusion: embracing mindfulness and compassion for lasting transformation